by the obviously authentic channel. My name's Leah, that's spelled L-E-A and not L-E-A-H. So, you know what? I was about to get into the video without greeting y'all. What is up? If you are new to the channel, hello, and I hope you stay. If you're returning to the channel or if you're a subscriber, hello, and thank you for subscribing, and also thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. So if anyone hasn't told you that you're appreciated, just know Leah appreciates you. Okay? So we're gonna get into Real Housewives of New Jersey. If you see me looking, look, my phone got my notes in it. I'm trying this new thing to see if I would my notes work better on my phone. I think I'm gonna go back to paper, but we'll get into it and see. So this episode wasn't really much. It was really geared towards the celebration of No, who was Teresa and Joe's father. So it was really nice. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I cried at the end. Like, the older I get, the more I cry. I don't know what that is. But I thought they did it was beautiful. Like, we're just gonna talk about that first. So I thought they really did a nice job. I didn't think it was gonna be like a party, because they had I thought it was more gonna be kind of like a wake where, you just bring food and have the person's picture. But they really had a beautiful party. Like, they had a bartender, they had it catered, they had beautiful floral arrangements. I really loved the floral wall that had their pictures of their parents on, the mom and dad on the wall. I thought that was a really nice touch. And then people brought really sweet gifts. Like, one lady brought a beautiful picture that I was like, oh, I would want a picture of like that of my parents. It was a canvas painting of No, with a cigar in his mouth, looking good and loving life. And then it was sweet that Bill and Jennifer decided to do the same, but it was a picture of both their mom and dad, probably when they were in their 40s, because it seemed like No still had hair, and the mom's hair looked a lot brown, so it didn't look like she had gray. But I was like, oh, those are really sweet pictures. And everybody looked really nice. Gia's speech made me cry. I was like, oh. But her speech was really sweet. They threw rose petals into the lake. No, I think the shore is the beach. They threw rose petal into the beach. I thought it was sweet. And maybe just a symbol, two swans came when Teresa, Joe, and Melissa and all the grandchildren took a picture together. Two swans actually popped up in the back of their picture, and I was like, oh, that could be, different animals popping up in your life means they're different things. So I was like, that could be them too. I was like, that's really pretty. And even if it wasn't them, I think that's always, animals have a way of making you feel whole. So I was glad that they saw those animals and they were happy with that. Yeah, it was beautiful. The only thing I ain't like is that Big Frank had on a white tee. Everybody else got on a white collared shirt, and it's not like he don't be wearing collared shirts, because we've seen him wear collared shirts. He wore a collared shirt on the episode where the guys were playing poker. But you over here at a memorial in a white tee at your big age. I know you close to 50. If not, you are 50. And you know, Frank, and I like you, Frank. I really like Frank, Big Frank, with his red tomato self. But that's disrespectful that you showed up there at that man's memorial service in a white tee and you ain't put on no collar shirt, and you see everybody else in they nice, casual Sunday outfits. But yeah, it was a beautiful ceremony, and I thought it was sweet. I also thought it was sweet that Joe was like, he's gonna always protect Teresa. His dad even told him before he finally passed, he was like, take care of your sister. And I was like, oh. So I'm hoping that they have a better relationship, because not even right now, as of now, it's just them two in this world together. That's why I always feel bad for people who are only children, because once their parents go, they don't, it's not like you lose your whole entire family, but there's no more immediate family. That's why I'm grateful for my sister. I'm glad I have her, and we have a wonderful bond. So I'm just I know when my parents go, I'm gonna be messed up for a good couple of days, but I know I have my little sister that will help me out. So and vice versa, she got me and I got her. So that's why I feel bad for people who are only children. But yeah, so let's get to the mess now that we got that beautiful, piece out the way. So the guys and the girls are heading to this restaurant because of the Panasonic. The restaurant has rules or regulations where they're only allowing no more than 8 people at a table. So the boys have a table and the girls have a table. And everything's going fine. They ordering drinks, they eating. Joe being a little bratty because he for some reason he brings up the prank about when Teresa called when they had that girls trip without Jackie. And it was kind of like weird because it was just like inserted awkwardly. And I agree with Bill said. He was like, your man just want his ego stroked, so just stroke his ego a little. Like, but Melissa's being like, no, he fine. And I was just like, you kind of could have just been like, got up, kissed him on the forehead and been like, bro, we good. And I bet you Joe would have calmed down, but he was just being a butt. And then side note, I'm sick of Teresa need to get laid, or maybe she don't know how to use her the vibrators that she gave to the ladies, because her always mentioning like she got on lemons because she want to get her lemons sucked. I was like, ugh. Then she over here talking about she wants some octopusy because they ordered octopus. I was like, ugh. I'm just like, Teresa, ma'am, stop, please, stop it. I'm glad you got a man now. Next season, I don't want to hear none of this. I don't want to hear none of it. Okay. So then, they're eating, and then all of a sudden, I don't even know how they got on this topic, but let me see in my notes to see where we got on the topic. Oh, okay. The advice. So they're sitting at dinner, and they're eating. And Melissa kept saying like Joe is high maintenance and that's why he's upset about me going out and being independent. And then Jen gives advice, which was stupid advice, where she was like, don't be too independent. And then, because Melissa was like, let me give you some dating advice, Teresa. Don't be too independent. And this is after Teresa made the octopusy comment. And then Dolores hopped in and was like, notice red flags, don't ignore them. If you if you notice the red flags, don't ignore them. And then Jen, this is where Jen and Margaret got to fighting, because Jen was like, don't let a man cuss at you. So then Margaret is like, everybody was out of their mind yesterday. And that's when I was like, yo, they only been at the shore for 2 days and they done had this many blow-ups. Y'all are exhausted on trips. So Jen is like, so Margaret was like, so was I wrong for cussing out my husband? And Jen was kind of like, yeah, I don't demean or disrespect my husband in derogatory ways. And then Margaret makes a comment where she was like, everybody was acting crazy. And then they flip over to the guys' table, and even Joe is kind of like, Melissa's Joe is giving him a hard time. And he was like, the way Margaret was talking to you was out of pocket. Like he said, you wear the G-string and she wears the pants, which is cavemanish, and that's how Joe is. But I agree with Margaret's Joe. He was like, yeah, we argued, but 10 minutes later, we're good. That's somewhat not healthy, because like you shouldn't be blowing up to that capacity at each other. I think that's wild. Like that's out of pocket. But if it works for them and they feel like it's not toxic and they aren't exuding toxic traits, then maybe it's good. It will work for me, because you're not going to be yelling at me for not like that. I mean, like we can have a disagreement, but you're not yelling at me like that. Not today. So, where we go? Oh, okay. And then Jen says to Margaret, that's one thing I like about Jen, even though like everybody kind of okay on this cast. But one thing I like about Jen is not afraid to get at Margaret. And I like that. I like that on this cast, everybody kind of like says what they feel and means what they say. They might not mean what they say, but they say what they feel, and I appreciate that. But Jen says, she was like, yeah, but Margaret, you're no stranger to meanness. And then she tells her about the meal ticket comment. And then Margaret kind of tries, and this is the thing I don't like about Margaret is we don't know what the hell Jackie do. Jackie may have a, like, I don't know if Jackie is an attorney or is a practicing attorney. Yes, she has her degrees, but if she at the house with her kids, she at the house with her kids. She not doing nothing really. But Margaret always comes at Jen being a stay-at-home mom. Let Jen do what she want to do. She taken care of. She happy being with being with Bill. It don't really seem like Bill sees her as like a meal ticket. He probably does definitely see her as a trophy because she looks good. She got a nice body. She looks young. But they seem to really want to be with each other. Like, they got 5 kids. I don't think if she just wanted to be with Bill for like a meal ticket, she would have 5 children. I genuinely think, like, if you trying to make it seem like you really love a man, have at least 1 child and then go on and do what you got to do, go on your trips. But having 5, to me, having 5 means you got some type of affection for that person. Like, you got some type of affection. Like, popping out kids ain't no joke. So I think her and Bill actually do like really care about each other. And I feel like you can see in Bill's and Jen's relationship, you can see the love there, in my opinion, because the fact that Bill was strapping, like we saw Bill strap up Jen's shoes like 2 times. I feel like somebody who would only view their wife as a meal ticket wouldn't stoop that low or feel like they should stoop that low to, and it's not low to tie up your wife's shoes, but they would feel like they were above that. The fact that he did it and she can ask and she gets whatever she wants, I don't think that's an issue, in my opinion. And then this is where I'm kind of with Margaret. So I like I said, I genuinely think everybody on this cast is okay. The only 2 I really don't see it for is Jackie and Teresa, but I appreciate them on the show. To me, I think Margaret should have been more careful in explaining her background or her stories about her situation with growing up in the 80s and the 70s in the fashion industry and feeling like she had to sleep with her boss versus like someone actually forcing themselves upon her. And I didn't remember hearing this, but Margaret confirmed it. Jennifer said, you said it wasn't a Me Too movement. So while they're at the table, the comment comes up about Jen making a kind of like a tasteless comment about Margaret just sleeping around. And then that's what Margaret blew up. But when Jen was like, you made it seem like you was just sexing it up, and you even said it wasn't a Me Too movement. And I think that Margaret needs to be careful when talking about this topic, because if you don't say it in a way where you take it seriously, then others don't take what you're saying seriously either. To me, I feel like Margaret should have just said what it was. And granted, it's her story to tell. Like, if she didn't feel comfortable, I get it. But like Jen said, you putting it in a book. So people are going to have different perceptions of you and of those situations if it's not worded in a way that you feel is authentically to you. If that makes sense, y'all. I just feel like Margaret should have never said, it's not Me Too movement-ish. I think she should have just said, yo, like, I felt like I had to sleep with these men. Some men did pressure me into sleeping with them in order to get what I needed at work. So in that regard, I'm like, this is what I had to go through, and this is not what I want other women to go through. I think had she said it that way, maybe it would be taken better, but I'm glad they got off of it. But then the other part is, like, Margaret thinks less of Jen, and I think Jen knows that, and that's why Jen and Margaret are always butting heads, because Margaret basically said that you didn't get the perception right, basically calling Jen stupid and saying that, like, she doesn't understand. Then she made the comment, like, get the audio book. Once you listen to the book, you'll understand. And then Melissa was like, you can't throw that back in someone's face. But like Jen said, you putting it in a book. Like, people are going to ask you about it and have their own perception of this situation. And then Jen clocked that. Jen took it as a dig because Margaret said, get the audio book. And that's when I made the correlation that Jen knows that Margaret doesn't think much of her. because Jen came back at her and was like, I can read, Margaret. I like, why do I need an audiobook? And I was like, ugh. So yeah, y'all kind of, okay. So then it's the ride home, like, and they're all in their separate cars. Side note, Dolores and Frank are so old, but it's cute. They was knocked out on the ride back. Like, Dolores had her glasses on. She was asleep. Frank was knocked out. I was like, oh, y'all tired. Y'all can't be having these people up all hours of the night. So they got home. But the ride home was I felt so bad for Margaret, Joe, Evan, and Jackie, because it is one of the awkwardest things to be in a car with your friends and that person is having an argument with like a friend or their significant other, because you don't know whether or not you should jump in and mediate the situation or you just should shut up and let them argue it out. But the whole time I know I'd have been sitting in that car ready to jump out the window. I don't like those types of situations. And Margaret tried to like mediate, but it wasn't really working. So basically, Joe felt some type of way that Melissa walked away from him and got in the car. And then they started to have this argument. Mainly, I think Joe and Melissa, I don't know. So I was watching Nikki Star TV. You should definitely check her out. I love her channel. She is so like sweet and she's such a sweet lady. And just genuine. Like you can feel her personality through the screen. But she was saying that she thinks that Joe and Melissa were acting, because she was like, they're stunt queens, which they really are. But I'm gonna disagree with her, because I rewatched it and I think some parts were acting, but I think it got real when they got home. Because in the car, I could see what she said, because it seemed like they was putting it on, like him slamming the car door, and then him saying, like, I just want my wife to hold me. Like, he's extra. So I could see what she was saying when she was like, they were acting. But I think when they got home, I don't know, because I don't think they that good of actors, to be honest. But, because Joe went out on the porch, and then Melissa went to the room. And then it was like the girls were talking to Melissa, and Joe was talking to Joe and Evan were all sitting out on the porch talking. And it kind of shed light on, and this is why I don't think it was fake, is because Joe was like, my parents had the perfect marriage. So he really idolized his family's relationship. And like Jackie said the next day when she was talking to Teresa and Jen about the whole situation, which was weird. It was weird. But I think Jackie made mention, she was like, I think he's anxious. And I think he was, because when he was sitting out on that porch and he started reminiscing about his parents, and he was like, my dad went to the cemetery every day after my mom died just to go see and talk to her. And people do die of a broken heart. And then he also was saying how his, what did he say? He was just like, they had the perfect marriage. And like what Jackie said, I think was true. And she was like, your mom was so devoted to your family. And it's true. And then you have Melissa in the other room saying, like, I'm not as home as much as I am. I'm doing red carpets, which I don't know what red carpets Melissa is on. Her boutique, I don't know who going in there. But she's doing more, and he expects her to be at home because they got married at 24. Side note, I don't think nobody should get married until they're like between 26 and above, because 24 is still young, and let me have fun. Let me jump out there. By the time you hit like 26, 27, you might be wanting to settle down because you're almost 30 and you want to create a family. But don't nobody need to get married past that. But yeah, but basically they're just having, it seems like, common marital issues. Like they're both transitioning, and it doesn't seem like they're transitioning at the same pace. And that's what happens when you're in a marriage. Like, it's two different people. That doesn't mean y'all are both going to evolve and grow at the same time, but they need to work it out. So it's the next day, and this is that conversation that Jackie and Teresa and Jen had, because they all boat to this restaurant that you dock at and stuff. Melissa and Joe got busy. I guess he was happy. Then he played a prank on her where he he changed Big Frank's number to realtor Giselle, and like kept calling her. And I low key was like, Joe, is you slipping up and cheating on camera like this, sir? Joe. But it turned out to be a prank. And I should have known something was up, because like Frank started texting, and I was like, is Frank texting Joe to tell him to shut up? Because Dolores was telling Joe, like, Melissa loves and adores you. Like, don't mess it up because you're being thick-skulled and you're letting your archaic Italian, like, old day ways mess up what you got now. Like, you need, like, don't mess it up. But it turns out they played a prank on Melissa, and it was Frank who was calling Joe constantly, because he called that number back to back 5 times, and Joe just kept ending it. And I was like, yo. Even Melissa opened up the phone and was like, hello, and then the person hung up. And I was like, see, that's when you get cussed out. But I was happy. I was happy. I thought it was funny, and I think it was like an even match, because you don't play with nobody's emotions like that. Like when they called Joe, because Teresa was very convincing, and we were watching her do it. But yeah, they seemed like they laughed about it. They kissed. But next episode, we'll get more into it. But yeah, you should definitely check out Nikki Star TV. Love her channel. She reviews like 90 Day Fiance. She do Real Housewives. What's that new show? Not new show. Married at First Sight. And she, like, I don't even watch The Bachelors, y'all. But as I'm studying for classes and I need, like, background noise, I'll listen to her. Because I don't know nothing about The Bachelor. I ain't never been into The Bachelor. But, like, she be having you enthralled in The Bachelor. And I be like, y'all really be into this. But she's really good. But she's really cool. I really like her channel. But definitely check her out. And it's spelled Nikki and then Star STAR and then TV, and you'll find her. But yeah, y'all, that's it. That's all. Be bravely authentic and have a wonderful day, weekend, night, whenever you see this. I just hope you're having a good day. Deuces.